For all things outdoors, listen to the father of two, the Jesus-loving TV show hosting hairy, true-blood American redneck, Ben Cole.
And listen to the outdoor filming, chef cooking, chocolate milk drinking, John Weismuller. And we are
Rooted Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Rooted Podcast. This week we have a very special guest, dear friend of mine. This guy is a turkey slaying, elk hunting, outdoor industry vet, Mr. Rick Taylor. How we doing, buddy?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. Doing good. So, Rick, it's that time of the year, man. We're turkey hunting. You know, turkey season's already started down in South Florida. I know I'm headed down there. So what does your spring look like for this year?
Well, I'm taking off a week from Friday, heading down there myself. I'll be down there for about a week.
Awesome. Where are you going?
Right around Gainesville area.
Okay.
I'll be down there in Gainesville area for 3 or 4 days, and then go on further south down into LaBelle and hang out with my buddy Travis for a few days.
Awesome. Are you trying to do like a single slam in a season?
If it works
or
out,
what?
if it works out. So I've got Florida on the docket. I'll be doing Oklahoma and Kansas, and so that's going to be Rio's there. I got to try to slip a Merriam's in here, but that would be the only one that I don't have kind of lined up for the season. But I'll end my season the latest that I ever have. First week of June, I'll be in Michigan. So, and then of course Tennessee and Kentucky right here close to home. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. 4 or 5 states.
Nice.
wow. That's pretty cool to be in 4 or 5 different states at any given time there. I've only gotten 2 of the different species, the Rio and the Eastern, of course. Really would like to do the single season slam at some point. I think it'd be super cool to kill one of those mountain birds, the old Merriam, and then deep South Florida, Osceola. That'd be a whole lot of fun to me. We're going to try to get it next year, that's for sure. But in light of turkey season, with everything coming up, there's a little precursor weekend, youth weekend. What does that mean to you to have your kids involved in the outdoors and sharing your passion with them?
So my youngest daughter, for whatever reason, I've got 4 kids. My oldest daughter is 24. My youngest is 16 as of February 12th. So then I have 2 boys in between. So my oldest son kind of kept the flame alive for dear old dad and having a boy that really likes to hunt. But my youngest daughter came in, kind of surprised me, and so she missed her very first turkey at 6 years old, and man, something stuck in that little girl's brain, and she is just as eat up with it as I am. So dad has promised her an elk hunt in Colorado for her graduation gift, her senior graduation gift. So, but man, this will be her last hurrah for youth season. Like I said, she turned 16 on February 12th, so it'll be the last one we spend as a youth, I suppose.
Sure. Did your parents get you into hunting, or how did you find that fire?
Yeah, so I grew up in Indiana for the most part. So I left there. I was the middle of my junior year in high school, but I grew up on a big farm. That was about an 800-acre farm, and some of my buddies at school, their folks hunted, and so I kind of got the passion kind of lit there. But my dad did a little bit of deer hunting. But crazy thing is my dad never killed a deer until about 3 years ago. He killed a deer with me on the place that I've got here. But it's funny, I can remember sitting on the floor cross-legged in front of my dad's the old oak gun case with the glass front, and Dad's got the door open and he's getting the gun out, or just those little core memories where you think back of what's Dad doing in the gun case now, those kind of things. So that kind of really the bug bit me there, but I think I picked it up and ran with it a little bit more than my 3 brothers, and none of them are into it as much as I am. And then of course, kind of passing it on to my kids. So,
hey, that's important right there. You
I
got
love
to
hear
keep
that
passing
story
it on to your kids. Got to. That's
right.
the future of what we love to do is the younger generation, and it starts with our youngins, and then we can add other people in with that, and um, you know one thing that I really like is the new shotgun shell loads they've come out with, like the TSS and
That's
stuff
right.
like that. That really helps get these kids out in the woods, and they're not intimidated by a big 12 gauge. They can actually shoot a 410 and be comfortable with
That's
it and
right.
be
Yep.
accurate with it and things like that. So um, that's what we've started shooting is the TSS shot. In fact, last year we took a kid with it's called Courageous Outdoor Kids, and those guys are phenomenal human beings. Every one of those youngins had something going on with them, and they were all so joyful, and you couldn't tell. You would have never known that anything was going on with them. You would never know. But the TSS shot and the different loads that you can get for the 410s gave them the opportunity to kill turkeys at longer distances. So we had a young man named Cole, and it was his very first time to hunt, very first time to shoot a gun, all that stuff. So we put it in a bog
Oh man.
pod and got it all situated for him. 410 with that good TSS shot in there. And let me tell you something. I was saying a prayer in the middle of that hunt, and this was 30 minutes, 40 minutes before any turkey should ever be gobbling. And I said, Lord, today give us dominion over these critters so Cole can take his first bird. And when I said give us dominion over them birds, a turkey gobbled right above us. I mean, right above us.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
like, oh my gosh. It sent chills down my back. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, here comes two birds after daylight fly down, putting on a show, strutting, gobbling, spitting, drumming. They did everything. And Cole was able to take his first turkey. And then the next
Nice.
day, he ended up getting a double bearded turkey. His very first two turkey hunts, he tagged out in the first 2 days. I said, boy, I couldn't be more proud. I'm telling you right now, I think I was more excited than he was, to be honest with you. I mean, I was so
He
tore
probably
up.
didn't know exactly what had happened. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, I was so tore up. I threw the blind back and just started running. I was like, whoa! But I'll tell you what, I think I got
you
more out
said,
of that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you said that, these kids get the opportunity to do something that they normally wouldn't have the chance to. And you said that they don't act like they have anything wrong. Well,
No.
it just in my mind, it made me think, when I go out and I get the chance to sit against the tree or sit up in a tree, man, I'm not thinking about anything else. Everything that I worry about when I'm on the job or I'm on the phone or having to deal with life, so to speak,
Yeah.
you get out there and it changes everything. And you wouldn't know that you've got the stress in your life, and those kids don't know what they've got going on now because their mind is enveloped in what's happening, and it's a real experience.
Yeah, it
Heck
really
yeah, it
is.
is.
I just have to give such a big shout out to the KOK crew that puts all that together for those youngins to get to go and do that kind of stuff. They get to do a deer hunt. In fact, one of the kids last deer season got to shoot a 170-inch deer, free range, totally free range in South Georgia. Laid the hammer down. It was awesome, man, just to see
Wow,
that get.
that's
I
fantastic.
was so pumped for that youngin, so pumped. But anyway, that was just kind of the story I had to tell you right there because it just reminded me of this upcoming turkey season. You talking about taking your kids. Mine are too young
Hmm.
still. I say that I may take my boy this year for the first time. He'll be 3 in April, so I think we're going to make a little trip out to the turkey woods and just let him sit by a tree or sit on my lap or something and just hang out, and just have a good time in the woods.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep, and just watch them scare away a turkey because it'll happen.
Yep, I already planned it.
Do you have
you got
any story like that, Rick? Like your kid always eating chips or something in the blind and scaring away deer or anything like that?
actually it's not my kids that did it. So when my wife and I were first dating, we we had this brilliant idea. We were going to take the three oldest boys, so her son and my two oldest. We were all five of us going to go turkey hunting, and so we went out the night before. We went to Walmart to get our snacks for the blind, and I think the boys didn't invite Nikki back after that morning's turkey hunt. So I ended up taking the kids from then on. So she was a good sport, though. She was a good sport.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, she got out
That's
there
awesome.
with you guys.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, in all seriousness, at least you do have a woman that supports your hunting addiction, so to speak.
There is no doubt about that. She's never been around hunting for one, but firearms for that matter. Her dad had a few guns, but my addiction is not just hunting; it's firearms as well. So she's come to terms with it, so to speak. But no, she is very, very supportive of me. And when I say, hey, I got this coming up or whatever, she's like, go have fun, and I'll be here when you get home.
That's it. Yeah, I'm the
takes.
same way. Whenever I met my wife, I told her one of the first things I was like, if you can get through this hunting season, then we'll be all
there
right.
You go.
And
that's right.
Spoiler alert, we did. So. So yeah, I remember when I first met her, I had a bird at Wilson's Wildlife Artistry, and I told her whenever we moved in this house, I said, just so you know, I have a pretty large investment being made right now, and I need that to go somewhere. You just need to pick out where it goes. And she just couldn't fathom how big. She's like, it's just a bird, right? Just this turkey's just a bird. I don't understand what's so big about it. And then I brought it home, and it's strutting. It's actually hanging up.
Kind of like this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wilson's has led to the decor in my man cave here.
Nice.
So everything around me has come from their studio. So
although those guys are awesome, top tier, but I mean, Maggie just could not fathom that this bird walks in the wild. She had never seen it. She's like,
that's right.
What is this? And I'm like, yeah, these things live and breathe every day,
That's right.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then it ended up in the garage there. And the other night I said, hey, when can I bring that turkey in y'all's house? and she said, go ahead. And I said, all right, I'll be there soon.
Exactly.
That's right.
So
that's right.
My deer from this past year is at Wilson, so whenever it comes in, I'll put them both back in the house, and we'll be all hunky dory there.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, mine have to stay upstairs. They're not downstairs. They all get to live up here. So
well, there you go.
That's our compromise.
Exactly. Everybody wins, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's right.
But so right. I mentioned in the intro that you guided elk. I wanted to ask you that. So you guide elk, and people may find this kind of odd, but you're not like out west at an outfitter all year. You actually guide elk in East Tennessee. Can you tell people like how that started?
Yeah. So the way it got started for me is Johnny Allred with Tennessee Wildlife Resource Foundation. The foundation is the group that gets the one ticket or the one elk tag that is auctioned off every year. I'll take that back. So it used to be an auction. It used to be on eBay, actually. And once it left eBay, it became a raffle ticket. So now that has grown to where they sell a couple $1 million in raffle tickets for an opportunity to shoot an elk in Tennessee. And Johnny had overbooked himself on a weekend or a week that was coming up to where he was supposed to have been guiding a gentleman who won at the time that eBay tag. At that time, that eBay tag went for $11,100 is what the fellow paid for that tag.
Holy cow!
I think that's the second highest bid on that. But so the guy that had bought the tag, Johnny put me in touch with him. First, Johnny reached out to me and said, Rick, I've overbooked myself. Any chance you can guide this hunt? I'm like, yeah. And now at this point, I've had elk hunted twice in my life in Colorado. I've never seen an elk die. And I think I'd only seen just a handful of elk, and that was on one of those hunts. But anyways, yeah, I can call turkeys and I can mimic an elk. So I studied up on exactly what an elk is supposed to sound like, right? Um, but we spent 5 or 6 long days on the mountain, and the mountain in East Tennessee is nothing like what out west is. But I will tell you that when we saw that bull coming across the field and he got the chance to pull the trigger, and I saw an elk die in Tennessee, my world changed, and that was the first time I did it. And now I think I've guided 9 hunts, and I've seen 6 bulls die and 1 other get shot. So
Wow,
pretty high odds out there.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. So,
Hmm.
you're talking about being able to call turkeys and different things like that, and there's a lot of similarities in the calls you use for elk hunting and turkey hunting. So what are the similarities and the differences you have seen between turkey hunting and elk hunting?
So there's a couple things that we kind of laugh about in the talking to some of my buddies that I elk hunt with, and some of the guys that we turkey hunt together too. Um, One of the things we say is if a turkey could smell, you would never kill them.
Yeah.
Their eyesight is their biggest defense, right? So
Mhm.
on the opposite end of the spectrum, the elk, their nose is their biggest defense. So the one phrase that I picked up is an elk will hear you 3 times, he'll look at you twice, but he will only smell you once and he'll be gone. So a turkey and an elk both can pinpoint your location to a matter of just feet.
Mhm.
If you're calling in a certain location and you're expecting them to come to where you're at, a lot of similarities there. You're interacting vocally with them, unlike deer hunting. Deer hunting, yeah, we can rattle antlers or we can grunt and try to get a response, but uh, you're literally trying to mimic the sound of either a hen turkey or a bull elk or even a cow elk to try to trip the trigger of those critters to get them in range. Uh, so there's a lot of similarities there. And another thing you hear is that hunting elk is like a 900 pound turkey on with
Right.
4 legs. So, but I have gotten to where I enjoy elk hunting just as much as I do turkey hunting.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
that's
kind of
cool.
my thing. Is like I would, I've never been elk hunting. I would love to go, and I kind of think that's kind of my thing. Is like, you know, if I love to turkey hunt, I think I would love to elk hunt just as much. Plus, if you get one, I mean, I'm sure your freezer's full of elk meat, or
Nope,
someone's is. You know,
nope, no
really.
elk in my freezer. Don't call me.
That's right. Nope, sure
they're
ain't fresh out.
they're on the wall right there, but there's nothing in my freezer. That's hilarious. No, I'm just kidding. That's some of the best uh, meals that I've ever had from anything I've taken out of the woods has been from the elk.
Oh man, I've had it
Yeah.
once. It was delicious.
Yeah, no,
But
elk is one of
you
my
know,
favorite meals of all time, other than the axis deer. Axis deer actually trumps elk for me. But
That's what I've heard, and I've yet to have that opportunity.
man, I'm telling you right now, those axis deer are unbelievable. I could eat my weight in an axis deer every single day, every day.
do you still have
But
some in the freezer bin?
no, it's gone. It was gone
It's
real
gone now.
fast. It didn't take long, man. I shot that thing, and I think before the end of the month, I'd eaten half of it. Like that was a meal just about 3 times a week. It was that good. And I'm telling you,
Wow.
I hope I get the opportunity to kill another one, in my lifetime. And but I'll tell you though, that elk hunting is something that I really would like to get into. I'd like to do it at least once in my life, to say I've done it. I know there's a lot of guys that are, hardcore bow hunters for the elk, but I'm one of them old boys. Bring out the rifle, and if they're at 300 yards, guess what? I can drop them in his tracks. That 300 Win
That's
Mag,
right.
man, it don't pull any punches.
That's
That thing just
my
lets
elk
it rip.
caliber of choice if I were to rifle hunting for sure.
Do
Nice.
you have a
That's
preference on
awesome.
that, Rick? On hunting, whatever archery versus gun?
Yeah, so I've killed 3 bulls and those actually have been the last three trips to Colorado. So I'm kind of a trifecta the last 3 years in a row. I've been
Nice.
fortunate to bring a bull home, but I've gone out during archery season, and really the reason why is tags for or rifle tags for elk are a little bit different out west. There's a lot of draw hunts and things like that. There's a couple seasons in Colorado where you can get them over the counter. Archery is over the counter for most every zone out there, so it's really the easiest tag to get your hands on. So
It's during the rut too, right?
yeah, and that's the biggest thing is you're really in the heat of when you're able to interact with them vocally and get them to flip that switch and
So
hopefully call them in where you want them to be. So
That's pretty cool.
that's the best part of and muzzleloader. The muzzleloader season in Colorado is the second week of season. Archery's the first week. The second week of when elk season opens is muzzleloader and archery at the same time. But so
okay.
I think in a year or two I'll try to get a muzzleloader tag and
Nice.
do that. So
And
Yeah,
there's
no, that
some
is
high powered
awesome.
muzzleloaders now that would take it down for sure.
yeah, I've got a few CVAs in the safe down there that can reach out there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, of
That's what I'm
course,
talking
no
about.
doubt about it.
hopefully I'll
So
get an opportunity.
yeah, I hope you do. So switching gears a little bit, the other day I saw you doing some land management on social media for your farm.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of land management practices would you share with people that are trying to maybe get started in land management? What can they look for? What can they expect? Things like that.
So it's I'm somewhat limited, and it's kind of strange to say that because I'm on a very large piece of property for what Tennessee offers, um, but I'm limited because of how that space is used by the landowner. So they have cattle on there. So what I am able to do, just food plot wise, for instance, is basically I can only put food where the cows cannot get to. So I've got a piece of dirt that's in between a hayfield and a dry creek. The creek only has water in it when it rains, and the fence keeps the cattle out of the hayfield, but it doesn't keep them out of the area between the hayfield and the creek. And so what I've done is over the years, I think I started about 4 years ago. I paid a buddy of mine that had one of the mulching heads on a bobcat, and he went in there and knocked a big hole in it, and I started a little food plot there. And over the years, I've been able to make it a little bit bigger. And this past, I guess it was late summer into the fall, I was able to dig the water hole out a little bit deeper so that it'll hold some water when it does rain. And what you've seen over the last couple 3 weeks and even in last month, once trade show season kind of ended, I've been out there, working on fencing a little bit. I was able to set a new redneck blind up, put a protein and corn feeder up at one location there, and of course running trail cameras. But probably the biggest thing this time of year, once I'm home and can have the time to dedicate to it, man, I've been running my dog proof traps, trying to work on the marsupials, the raccoons and the possums and the skunks even. The skunks they get shot from about 50, 60 yards out, but I'll go back and get that trap later. But
Yeah, exactly.
everything else, man, I'll run them off. And since the first of this year, I've already killed probably a dozen raccoons and 3 or 4 possums and a couple skunks. So,
Awesome.
and I can tell you, it's made a huge difference on my turkeys.
I was fixing to ask that. What's the impact that you've seen from trapping throughout however long you've been trapping for?
Yeah, so the trapping, I probably started it about 3 years ago, and I've always had a pretty good turkey population, but I will tell you that sitting in a deer blind this year and seeing 2 different flocks of 18 and 20 longbeards,
Yo.
and that was the same day, so I know it was 2 different flocks. It's definitely making a big difference on what's happening there.
Nice.
And that's one
I
thing,
just
we've
started
been
trapping.
trying to, we've been trying to put an emphasis on trapping, with everything that we've been talking about. And, on this podcast, we're really trying to share with people, hey, you're worried about your turkey numbers and you're not doing anything about it. If you're worried about it, go trap.
Yep.
Trap them raccoons, trap
That's
the
right.
possums and the skunks and all that stuff. That's what's eating majority of your nest, is those marsupials
100%.
right there. I mean, that's where it all starts, and I mean, people wonder, well, why did they drop the limit in Tennessee? Well, because the bird numbers are dropping because nobody's trapping anymore.
That's right.
You got it's a vicious cycle that you have to dive into. You have to keep that going. And me and John talk about this all the time. It's like, well, catching one raccoon could save a whole nest of poults. I mean, one raccoon could save a whole nest of poults.
On top of that, coyotes. Man, that's another big deal. So this is a working cattle farm. So we have a lot of coyotes, and where I'm at up there in the East Tennessee area, I've got a lot of hogs as well. So USDA is kind of helping with the hog numbers. They will run a trap on the place every now and then. I run a trap, and recently they've been actively shooting them from the air with a helicopter, which unfortunately I can't get into with them. But that's their deal.
Fun,
but I've got a thermal, so they're going to be out tomorrow night. I may get out there with them tomorrow night. But
nice.
Yeah, man. So last year during the just during turkey season, a neighbor and myself ran traps and actively hunted and killed coyotes, and we killed 13 coyotes off the farm just during turkey season last year.
Wow.
So and we talk about just going back to the raccoons. The investment in doing that. Buy 2 or 3 traps. You don't have to have a dozen traps or 20 traps.
No.
At $15 a piece, go get some cheap dollar store cat food and some little bitty marshmallows.
Yep,
that's all it takes.
Yeah,
it's a small investment for a very great return.
I agree.
That's what John has started trapping lately, and he's had some pretty good luck with it, hadn't you, John?
Oh yeah, I've caught I think 4 or 5 raccoons. Dude, I bought a whole new 22 just to be my raccoon getter, man. I love it. Well, really,
Yes.
it was just an excuse to buy another gun. Really is what it was. But
I read through that. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did too.
I was like, listen, honey, this 22 I have isn't good enough. I need a brand new one.
That's right.
And so I got it. And anyway.
Can't ever have too many guns.
And it does. It works. It works very effectively, I have to say.
There you go.
Of course.
But no, man, I'm really excited to see, because this is the first time that I've done it. So, I'm sure I won't see it until obviously the next group of poults comes about. But I'm really excited to see how my turkey numbers just jump, because I'm the same way. I plant a chufa field, which, by the way, Rick, if you've never planted chufa, dude, oh my God, you need to. It should be illegal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It works that good. It should not be allowed. But if it is, I'm gonna do it. So anyway, I plant this chufa field, and I mean, I got my father-in-law and his first long beard, my brother. I got myself a bird. I mean, it was just like clockwork. They came in, strutting and gobbling and all this and that and the other. So I've got a good population, but I'm just hoping, kind of the same case as yours, I'm hoping it just gets better and better.
All right, let me know when you're starting to plant. That way you can join me over there and we can try out your chufa field at my place.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, dude, it's a game changer. I've got Ben on it. He's gonna do it the next time he plants. I'm trying to tell everybody while it's still legal, plant it, man. Plant it.
There you go.
Oh, it works, man. I saw. So, man, I'll just tell you a little backstory here. So, John had me out to help him plant a couple of years ago, right? And I think, okay, we're going to use a spreader, whatever, or any kind of implement, that we can use. Well, didn't have the right drive shaft that day for the spreader, and he shows.
I did have one though.
He did have one, but it was the wrong one. And he shows up with this grain cart full of fertilizer buggy. I mean, that dude put the perfect amount of fertilizer on there. He did it right. It was awesome. And then we get to spreading the seed, and it was all by hand. I said, John, I am never doing this again. I said, next
Now, how big
time,
of a spot are we talking?
an acre.
Half it. Yeah, if I say around an acre. Yeah.
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 But John likes to overseed. So he bought like 25 bags of
Hey, man.
everything. I mean, hey, you got to do it right.
That's right.
He just conned me into
You know,
doing some good
some of it's got
backbreaking
to
labor.
take at some point, right?
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
And you know what? The birds are got to eat some, the crows, all that crap. So
That's
you got to
right.
oversee
Yeah,
a
That's
little
right.
bit.
Yeah, that's right. So I told him next time we were going to use the
Well,
whirlybird, or I'm going to bring a planting rig up there. We'll do it that way.
yeah. I just went and made the $100 investment to get the right drive shaft so it works properly.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, it works
Well,
great.
I'm
Now
doing
I'm
everything
good.
by hand if it makes you feel better.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yep.
Well, good.
It's just I think I'm doing between 1/2 and 3/4 of an acre right now is all I'm doing, but it's in the right area. The way that everything lays out, it's a long flat bottom with a creek in the bottom, and then everything around it is kind of, so I'm in a bowl. So
Mhm.
everything
Oh,
comes
nice.
to the hayfield, and from the hayfield, they're making it into my plot and my little water hole as well. So just
Oh,
kind of the
nice.
right
That's great.
layout,
Nice.
but you can
Yeah.
never have too much food, I feel like, though. So
No, heck
Yeah.
no.
trying to expand that a little bit more too.
Well, and
Yeah,
see,
no.
the thing that Ben's not bringing up is Ben is a agronomist by trade, so he is like the perfect rows, so far apart, so
Oh,
far this way. Where me, I'm like, just spread it on the dirt and hope it grows, baby. You know, I
that's
don't
right.
care as
Yep.
long as it grows. And Ben's like, no, dude, 18-inch rows, 24, this by this. I'm like, buddy, you're speaking Spanish, dude. I don't know what any of this means.
That's right.
So I have learned a lot from him for sure.
Oh, well, that's good stuff.
That's
Yeah,
why
it's
that's why some
So
teach and
that's
some
what I went
learn,
to school
right?
for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did. That's what I do. That's my trade is agronomy and soil, and I just like to make sure that I grow the right food and enough food for all these critters. Because me and John talked about this a while back. Is even on your deer population, everybody wants them giant 170-inch bucks and all that stuff, but it starts with your does and your fawns. That's where it starts. Right there, because
That's
if you're not
true.
dropping
That's true.
fawns, you're starting. That's your 5-year plan, 5-6 year plan. Right there is every
That's it.
buck fawn that drops. So you got to start with mama, taking care of her, making sure she has the right nutrients, making sure that she can provide the right milk and everything else to give that fawn the chance, to make it and do what it's genetically inclined to do. And I always have this phrase: not every deer is genetically inclined to be a giant, but it's genetically inclined
That's
to
right.
end up in my freezer. That's right.
Yeah.
I like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to
That's
put that
No
on a
hard.
t-shirt fast.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah. I just
will
came
get
up
it.
with that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just came up with that one. We're going to have to make that a shirt for sure.
For sure. Oh man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So,
Hold on.
Rick, what's up?
I was gonna say, hold on. I need to type a letter of proof that that's my idea before
Exactly.
and mail it to myself. They call that a poor man's patent on that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right. We have video proof.
Yeah. So I've got a so if someone like myself is going to South Florida for one of the first times, what's the I know you've been going for a few years now. What's like something that you would tell someone to kind of look out for, or it's so different over here than it is wherever you're from. Like what does someone need to know going into South Florida? Someone like me who's only been once.
Everywhere you sit, something is going to poke you. Everywhere you walk, there's a chance that something could bite you. And if you're anywhere around swamps, there's always a chance of gators. And
Sounds great.
Thermocell is the one thing you don't leave home without.
Do
Yeah,
the birds themselves act any different, or I mean, is an eastern and Osceola kind of go hand in hand?
No. So
Okay.
one thing about Osceolas and the one thing that I've noticed about Osceolas is they will gobble quite a bit on the limb, but when they hit the ground, they're not as vocal as an eastern. And I don't know if that's because of where they're at. There are mountain lions in Florida, cats. There's big cats. There's coyotes. There's all kinds of things in that area that are wanting to kill a turkey. From the time they're an egg, right? They're being destroyed from egg to full grown maturity. But I don't know where my train of thought was going with that, but yeah, the whole area down there is completely different from swamps to just the tree that you're leaning against. I mean, half the time you're leaning against a palm tree. It's not like a good smooth bark oak tree. You're kind of digging your back into the palm there. So yeah, it's a different world down there for sure.
Oh man. Well, I'm definitely excited to go. I'm picking up my brother. He lives at the halfway point in the bottom of Georgia, and we're gonna go hit up some public land and see if we can't get it done.
I was going to ask you, what's your plan?
Yeah, so we're
what
going to
Florida
hunt. Let's see, Big Cypress, I think it's called. I couldn't tell you what part of Florida that is, other than south.
Big Cypress. That's way south. Yep.
So we are driving down there. I
spent a few nights in my truck last
year.
year. Yep. I heard one turkey gobble that was probably a mile from where I was, and had no idea how to try to get to him.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, because listen, I am not walking through some swamp to get to a turkey there. It is not happening. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah, it will. I will tell you, it will challenge your mentality as a turkey hunter to go set foot in Big Cypress. And I wish you all the best, and I hope you both kill one, because you will earn it if you do.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I've gotten from just doing all the research, and because I've looked into doing some outfitters, and I got nothing against any outfitter, but it's like I don't have $2-3 to go drop on an outfitter for a bird, so I'm like, well, public land it is, baby. Here we go.
Yep. So
that's the.
I can chat about it later. Yeah. I'll give you a couple pins of where I've been down there, and whether or not that helps you or not, but I can get you.
It ain't gonna
started
hurt.
Anyways. That's right.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you. Ben, there was a time me and Rick hunted together. I was young and dumb. I'm still young and dumb, but I was younger and dumber. And Rick took me out. We went out on this lease near where he lives, and anyway, we went out there and we had this bird gobbling, and here's this seasoned guy. He's like, all right, bird's gobbling, and I'm just excited because I'm hearing a bird gobble. I'm like, dude, this is the first bird I've heard gobble all year. He's like, well, heck, if you're happy, I'm happy. Let's roll. So, we ended up just doing. I don't even really remember what happened. I'm sure we did. I mean, obviously we didn't get one, but it was still, a fun time. It kind of, to bring it back to taking kids out. Like, it's stuff like that like, I'm sure Ben has done that. I know I've done that with some like wounded veterans and kids. Like, it may not seem like a big deal to you in the moment, but like to me, as a 16-year-old, this guy that was in the industry, right? That was a big thing for me. It was like, was willing to go with me, and, had a turkey gobbling, and it was a cool deal for me. So I just needed you to know that I still remember that.
I appreciate that. I've seen the meme here lately. I think the Lindsay Way may have posted it. It's something to the effect of, why do you want to take a kid hunting, or what does it matter? Well, it matters to that one kid, and that's the big thing, man. It may not be a big deal to you doing it, but it could be the world to somebody else. And that's something to think about in life. It may not be a big deal to smile at that stranger or wave at that guy that's crossing the street in front of you or whatever, but to that person, it may be a big deal.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
very true.
My day job at the moment, I deal with the public a lot, and it's the same kind of concept. It's like, hey, man, to that customer, this is the only interaction, even though it's your 1,000th of the day. To them, it's the one. So yeah, it's the same thing in life, or or kid hunting or whatever. It's like, for you, that was probably your 1,000th gobble you heard that year. For me, it was my one. So it was a cool ordeal there.
I'm glad to be a part of it, man. I enjoy it, and every chance I get,
Absolutely.
Heck, it sounds to me like we all three need to get in the turkey woods together.
At some point, man.
I'm gonna let
yeah.
you twist my arm, guys. Here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
John will cook.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and Rick knows that he was at the restaurant whenever we owned it, so
That's right.
he knows.
That's right.
He knows. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, Ben, I've got one more question for Rick here, and then I'll let you kind of ask whatever else you got. So,
yeah, man.
Whenever I said you were kind of a seasoned guy, it's like obviously you've been in hunting for a while. You've been in the industry doing your thing. How much have you seen the industry and just hunting in general change over the years that you've been in it? Like really, really in it.
Oof, man. That's kind of a tough one. It's tough, but it's not. It's almost the tough thing is answering it maybe politically correct. But
Gotcha.
what fun is that, right?
You answer it however you want to.
I'm gonna say it like this, and yeah, we're on a podcast. Yeah, it's on the internet, and that has been probably what I will say one of the biggest tools that has effectively put hunters against each other.
Yeah.
More than coming together sometimes.
I totally agree.
You just get on any turkey hunting page and talk about TSS, or get on any deer hunting page and talk about shooting a crossbow, and see where that conversation goes. It doesn't take but about 3 comments to see how quickly we can become divided on such a really, I mean, to break it down, it's really not that important. I'm kind of a bourbon guy, and one of the things when you get around other bourbon guys and you start talking is how do you like your bourbon? Do you like it neat, or do you like it with an ice cube, or whatever? And I said this not too long ago on another podcast. The best way to drink bourbon is the way you like it, and the best way to hunt is legally. I don't have to do it the way you do it, Ben. I don't have to, John. You don't have to do it the way I do it. If it's legal, and in your so the legal and ethical line can become blurred, kind of blur. Right? It's yeah, it's legal to shoot a turkey off the limb in Tennessee. How many seasoned guys do you know that are going to do that?
Zero.
There's the ethical part, right?
Yeah.
So if it's legal and you can enjoy it, man, I'm not gonna try to cut the shirt off your tail to tell you you shouldn't do it that way.
Well, and
get out there, take somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. Because listen, and all the stories that we've been saying about whether it's your daughter or the courageous kid, not one part of that story was, well, I made sure they were using TSS, or I made sure she wasn't shooting a crossbow. Or, no, we were outside, we were hunting. That's what the story was.
Yep.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
And
you were creating a core moment in somebody's life is what you were doing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And, I'm right there with you. It's like, who cares?
Well, my thing is, if you've got enough time to sit there and worry about how somebody else is killing something, you're probably a little bit jealous that they've killed something bigger than you. Or maybe they've had more success, But, I mean, hey, the thing of it is at the end of the day, it's food. Period. That's just all it is.
That's right.
It's not this thing where you get to go out and bash other people for the way they hunt, If it makes them excited and tickles their fancy.
Antlers are pretty, but
yeah. They don't fill your belly.
Antlers are nice, but you can't eat them. That's right.
Nope, you can't eat them. I mean, I do like to shoot mature deer.
The biggest change I think is the internet and the way it has created a lot of division, but on the other end of the spectrum, it's also given people the chance to get out there a little bit. I wouldn't have met half the people that I've interacted with in the industry if it hadn't been for the internet or Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, trade shows and things like that. So there's both ends of the spectrum, and it's a matter of how you use that tool to make it effective in whatever your purpose in life is.
Yeah, I agree
Absolutely.
with you 100%, and same goes for duck hunting. You got these folks that only shoot mallards, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, hammer down. I like shooting them all. If it comes in the decoy spread and it does it right and it's legal to kill it, I'm going to kill it. And then I'm going to eat it. That's what I'm going to do. I am not a purist by any means. But, it all just, it's a catch-22, it really is. Because you got everybody against something, like even using decoys for turkey hunting. People are like, oh man, that's cheating right there. Okay, well, if cheating's feeding my family, then that's fine. It's legal. So, that's what we eat is wild game. We don't go to the grocery store and buy beef. We eat deer. We eat turkeys. We eat fish that I've killed or that I've caught. That is what we eat.
Yep.
I'm not out there trying to, make this statement of, well, I'm a master hunter. I can call with the best of them, because I'm not the best turkey caller in the woods. But I will use every tool in my toolbox to get the job done. And if that's using a decoy or whatever method that is legal, then I'm going to do it, because at the end of the day, I love turkey nuggets.
That's right. Here's another T-shirt idea that you can't have because I'm already working on it. But in relation to turkey hunting, it's just what you were saying. If it's legal, so it's call them, crawl them, sneak them, or deke them. I'm gonna call them in.
Yes.
I'm gonna crawl on them. I'm gonna sneak up on them, or I'm gonna use a decoy to kill them. I don't care if it's legal. Hey, I'm out there to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, load your truck with shells and shotgun and camo and everything to go out there and listen to a turkey. Your intent is to go out there and kill a turkey. Yeah. That's your intent.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah, I'm going to bring home the bacon. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, man. So I've got one more question for you, and kind of curious, what is your go-to turkey call? Out of all the calls you can use, what's your go-to?
I'm probably a mouth call diaphragm guy. That's kind of my go-to because it's just something lightweight. You can throw 2 or 3 in your pocket and just go. I've kind of ventured away from carrying a big heavy vest. I used to carry the big vest and put as much in it as I can, and over the last, I guess last year, maybe in the first year, but I found this pack that's almost like a bino harness that carries a couple slate calls on the front with a couple strikers, and it's got pockets for the binos and even a box call, or I actually shove my thermocell in the box call pocket. So I've kind of scaled back on everything that I carry, but I'll always have a mouth call with me.
That's awesome. I love a little mix of everything, but mouth calls seem to be the ones that you can finish them with a little bit easier because you don't have as much hand motion there, when you're when they're trying to get into the range you want to shoot them at.
Yep. And that you can, one thing about a mouth call is you can throw your voice, use your hand and make it sound like the hen's over here or whatever. If that bird's cutting, however you need to pull them across. Either you're calling for someone or calling for yourself. It's a lot more versatile than the other calls. So definitely from long range to, like you said, finish them on that last 20 yards. You need them to close the distance. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love it. Well, I'm sure like everybody else, we're all excited to get in the woods. I know I am. So Rick, where can everybody find you at, man?
Of course, Facebook's just Rick Taylor. Instagram, it's Tennessee Turkey Hunter, but there are no vowels, so it's TNTRKYHNTR. So Tennessee Turkey Hunter on Instagram.
Gotcha. What's your daughter's? I know she's got something. I've been seeing it out there.
Yeah, her too. Outdoors. Yep, Outdoors with Briley, and Briley is BRYLEIGH. So Outdoors with Briley.
Awesome. And as always, guys, subscribe, share. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, anywhere that you listen to a podcast. As always, check out our sweet merch. Rick, don't steal our T-shirt ideas. And we'll be in business. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Rick, thanks again, brother, for being on, and let's go kill a turkey.
Sir.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Right,
well, with
Later.
that, the redneck is out.
Redneck is out.
Yeah.
Reach over here and finish my bourbon.
There you go. For all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television, and I mean hats, shirts, hoodies, and other merch, check out our friends at CH Lone Star Pro and the link that is in our description.